What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another rules roundup to be having a look at. And my apologies, this one is a few days late, but we are well in spoiler season for Wave 3 of the Transformers TCG. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I've been a very busy boy bringing you all the new cards. Anyway, less excuses, more rulings. Fewer excuses. Starting off then, if I have a Micromaster in bot mode, let's go raid a Detour, just because that's one we looked at yesterday, and I use an action that taps it, such as Inferno Breath or swap missions, can I use the tap ability? So Inferno Breath is a lovely card that lets you tap a character with 5 stars or more and do 3 damage to an enemy, and swap missions allows you to tap a character and untap one of your tapped characters. No, because it's a tap ability. It isn't an ability that works when you tap the character. It is, if it is untapped, you may tap it and use the ability. And that's the key thing here. It's not whenever it's tapped, it's you may tap it to use this ability. So what about INSECTICON, Skrapnel, INSECTICON Leader? Now, INSECTICON Skrapnel's got a really nice skill in bot mode that reads this cannot take more than 3 attack damage from a single attack. So what happens if you get a bit of cheeky damage in as the attack starts? So let's take, I don't know, let's say we've got an Ironhide. And we've got combat commands attached to Ironhide, which says when the upgraded character attacks, you may flip a sentinel in your KO area from bot mode to alt mode and then back. And then we've got Autobot Hot Rod. When it's in your KO area and you flip it into bot mode, you do 1 damage to an enemy. And then you carry on the attack with Ironhide. Now, given that Insecticon Skrapnel can only take 3 damage from an attack, and Autobot Hot Rod has already done 1 damage, does that mean you can only do 2 damage with the attack? And the answer is no, because it is attack damage that Insecticon Skrapnel stops. It limits to 3 attack damage, and Autobot Hot Rod is cheeky damage, not attack damage. So you do the one with Autobot Hot Rod, ability does nothing. Then when you attack, it's limited to 3, 4 in total. What about Captain Ironhide then? Captain Ironhide is one of the cards I was lucky enough to be able to reveal, and in bot mode it's got a great skill that when you attack, you may swap a weapon attached to it with a blue weapon from your hand. Now, I answered this question in the video, so you should all have watched that video. I'll link it in the description. Can you put an Energon Axe onto an undamaged character using this skill? Because generally speaking, Energon Axe reads, put on damaged characters only. The answer is no. Even though you're using a skill, you're still putting it on a character, and Energon Axe can only be put on a damaged character. Although, once again, I totally answered that in my video. Go Wossy, go Wossy, go Wossy, go. What if you combine that with another card that I revealed back in Wave 2, Mounted Missiles? Now, Mounted Missiles is very interesting because although it's a weapon, you can put it in the armor or utility slot. So if it is in the armor or utility slot, can you still swap it with a blue pip weapon from your hand? And the answer is no. Well, kind of no. You see, you can swap Mounted Missiles for a blue weapon, but that blue weapon has to go into the weapon slot. So if you've got Mounted Missiles in your armor slot and Static Laser of Ironhide in your weapon slot, you can swap Mounted Missiles for a blue weapon, let's just say Energon Axe. But very importantly, you would have to put that blue weapon into your weapon slot, which would then scrap Static Laser of Ironhide. You can do it, but it's got to go in the weapon slot. Hey, here's another card that I revealed. I feel like this is a ruling for me this week. I'm pretty happy about it. Battering Ram. Battering Ram is an upgrade, and when you attack with a character to which it is attached and you do damage, your opponent flips to their other mode. What if you KO them? The answer is the defending character is not flipped. Now that is really important for combiner teams, because combiner teams tend to be extremely weak But you want them all in bot mode so that you can combine them. But you're probably going to be getting one-hit KOs, and they all start off in ult mode. So if you attack someone like an Alpha Bravo and just KO it, you do not want to flip them. And if you can get a KO here, you won't flip them. That's really good. So what about collateral damage then? Collateral damage is from back in Wave 1. Each player chooses a weapon on one of their characters and scraps it. Each player chooses a card in their hand and scraps it. What if you don't have a weapon on the field? What if neither player has a weapon on the field? Well, the ruling here is very simple. Do as much as you can. If both players have a weapon, you both scrap one. If one player has a weapon, only they scrap it. If neither player has a weapon, neither player scraps. If both players have cards in hand, they both scrap. If one player has no cards in hand, they don't have to scrap one. And if for some weird reason neither player has any weapons on the field or cards in their hand, you can still play it. Obviously, it would have to be the last card in your hand. It would just do nothing. So we've talked about this before, but worth repeating. Nowadays, you're allowed to flip characters in the KO area. Do you get their ability? And the answer is only if it specifically says so. So if you flip an Insecticon Skrapnel into ult mode in the KO area, you do not get to KO one of your Insecticons and tap an enemy. But if you flip an Autobot Hot Rod into bot mode in the KO area, you do get to do a damage because it specifically says on the card when this is in your KO area and you flip to this mode. Pretty important. So focus is a new keyword skill we've been looking at lately, and focus is when you attack or defend, you may look at the top X cards of your deck and then scrap that number, or as many as you like. So Specialist Flame War's got focus too. When you attack or defend when you battle, you get to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and scrap none, one, or both of them. Well, what if your focus is greater than the number of cards in your deck? What if you've got focus 6 but only 4 cards left in your deck? Well, you do what you always do. You scrap the top 4 cards as you wish. Oh no, now I'm out of cards in my deck. So you now shuffle your scrap pile, which becomes your deck, and then you can look at the top 2 and scrap as you like. Remember, the second you run out of deck, you have to shuffle up your scrap pile into your deck. Cool. If I attack with Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend or Alpha Trion, what happens if I flip an EMP wave? So Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend in bot mode, when you attack, after flipping for attack but before defense, you may play an action card that you flipped. And Alpha Trion, after you flip battle cards for attack but before defense, you may play a blue action. So Alpha Trion is like a slightly nerfed version of Optimus Prime. Well, EMP wave says tap all characters. So the question is, do you still get the attack? And the answer is yes. Because you see, when you get to the end of your turn, you check to see, do I have any untapped characters? And as long as you do, you initiate the attack. If you flip an EMP wave, you play it, and all untapped characters are now tapped. But you've started your attack, you're already midway through the attack, so you get it. And this basically is great because it stops your opponent. Say they've got 3 untapped characters and you just tapped your last character, they're going to get 3 attacks at the end of their next turn. But if you can flip an EMP wave, then everyone untaps at the end of your turn, and then they'll just get 1 attack at the end of their turn. And what I love is, in the ruling roundup here, the answer is, yes, that's a really good idea. Ken Nagel, Transformers TCG Design Lead. Cool. One thing that is really cool, Battle Masters. Let's take Private Smashdown as an example. When the Battle Master gets KO'd, it turns into an upgrade that you can attach immediately. So Private Smashdown turns into Airquake Hammerclaw, and that is one of the shorter, easier names that Battle Masters turn into. Can you use I Still Function to replay a Battle Master? No. Because when a Battle Master gets removed from the game, it is as an upgrade, so it goes to the KO area As an upgrade, not a character, I Still Function doesn't work. And then there was a second question, which said, will we ever get a way to reuse Battlemasters from the KO area? And they actually spoiled Quartermaster in the rules roundup. I've already done my video on Quartermaster, I'll pop a link in the description, but it's an action card that either lets you move an upgrade from one of your characters to another, or put a Battlemaster from your KO area onto one of your characters. It is, as I like to phrase it, nuts good. So yeah, this is really cool. A couple more questions to finish off then, as we are here. How does Spare Parts interact with Salvage for parts? So Spare Parts is a card that came around in Wave 2. It is a utility, and if an opponent's card would cause a weapon or armor to be scrapped, you scrap this card instead, as long as it's attached to the same character. Salvage for parts, you scrap all upgrades and repair 1 damage from each character for each upgrade scrapped from it. So can Spare Parts save you? And the answer is yes, because it all happens at once. Salvage for Parts tries to discard all of your upgrades, but Spare Parts will save either a weapon or an armor, and because it's all happening at the same time, you get the choice of which one to save. So you actually will get to save an upgrade. But then, of course, 1 fewer upgrade is being discarded, so 1 fewer damage will be able to be repaired from that particular character. Cool. And it wouldn't be a rules roundup if we didn't have a couple of questions about Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend. So, we know that you cannot play Supercharge when you flip it while attacking. Well, this isn't actually true. You can play a Supercharge when you flip it while attacking with Optimus Prime in bot mode. But it's too late to give yourself bold free. That has already been calculated. But what happens if you flip a Leap of Faith? You play Leap of Faith, which lets you play the top 2 cards of your deck, and that leads to a Supercharge. Yeah, the answer's still no. Because the attack has already started, bold has already come in, you've already flipped for attacking, so it's too late. You don't get to flip 3 extra cards, the bold has already happened. However, you do still give yourself bold free until end of turn, so if by some way you get to attack with this character again during the same turn, the bold free will be in effect. And finally, we know that secret actions are a subset of actions. Does that mean that you get to play a secret action if you flip it while attacking with Optimus Prime? And the answer is yes, of course you do. Because it's just an action and you can play actions. But it won't be very much of a surprise. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the rules roundup. I shall try and be slightly more punctual in future. But while we are in spoiler season, needs must. So, tell me what you think about all these rulings. Are there any that make you particularly excited? I, for one, like that Battering Ram does not flip a character it KOs, especially when I'm playing against combiner teams. But I'd like to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, so go nuts in the comment section, but please do remember to be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers, but also a bunch of others. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.